The German Democratic Republic, or East Germany, constructed the Berlin Wall in August of 1961, and it separated the East from the West until its fall in November of 1989. It was more than 20 years of socialism in the German Democratic Republic. The Eastern Bloc claims the wall was built to protect those in the East from the fascist ideals by building a socialist state. Many of the East Germans who were against the separation were able to leave and find refuge in West Germany by traveling through Hungary first. However, this was not an ideal situation. There was political unrest in the Eastern Bloc of communist states in Europe, and in 1989, Hungary disabled its physical borders with Austria, and the chain of events began for the physical demolition of the Berlin Wall. However, the reunification did not come without opposition. Many people of East Germany opposed the reunification. But why? In a 2010 poll surveyed by Reuters, many of those who lived in East Germany were not satisfied with the reunification. According to Matthias Platzek, one of the most popular leaders in East Germany, the reunification was more of an annexation, with the West taking over the East, and this was apparent in many different ways. One opinion poll noted that only 25% of Easterners felt they were part of a unified state, and 67% felt they were not part of a unified Germany at all. But the same was not to be said for those in West Germany. By contrast, 47% stated they felt the two states had come together to form a unified Germany. But why such a large difference in opinion? One explanation states the fact that hardly anything changed for West Germany, except for being able to move legally to the East. Those that grew up in the socialist country had been taught that the capitalists in the West Germany were seeking to destroy their way of life, economically and militarily. Another explanation compares generational differences of those in the two German states. On the one hand, the older generations were raised in a socialist era, whereas the younger generations were seeing firsthand the political uprisings in the communist states and wanted a revolution. When the two were unified, the Eastern way of life changed down to what they were spending for everyday goods. The modern movie Goodbye Lenin portrayed this exact issue. Goods and brands that the East Germans were used to buying were replaced with luxurious imported brands from other countries. Not only did many of these living in East Germany resist the unification, many European officials did as well, particularly those in Britain and France. Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, or the Iron Lady, was one of the most outspoken about her opposition to a reunified Germany, and on her side was the President of France. Her argument was that a greater German state would be created, more powerful than either of the two as separate states. Thatcher tried relentlessly to talk Mr. Gorbachev into doing what he could to stop the unification. Many were worried the German superpower would try to get revenge on the Allied states after 2 World War losses, which would cause destruction worse than that of Adolf Hitler. Many people died trying to flee the West. Along the wall were guards and watch posts, and many museums and memorials have been set up in Germany and around the world to honor those that died. The 20th anniversary of the collapse held a large celebration called the Festival of Freedom, which inspired people in countries such as China and Palestine to participate in their own freedom demonstrations. The Chinese protested the Great Firewall of China, the internet censorship, and the people of Palestine pulled down parts of the Israeli West Bank barrier. Today, the generation I was born into knows nothing of the Berlin Wall and the hardships those in East and West Germany faced with the collapse. As we know, there was no German superpower established, but the older generations continue to hope for a separated Germany in which the East and the West are two different countries, one capitalist, one socialist.